Hey, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Rebel back with another video, and today we are talking about the Z-Image Turbo Fun ControlNet Union. So this is a ControlNet additive to the Z-Image workflow. So what ControlNet does is it extracts the pose from your reference image and allows you to use it in a prompt to rebuild the pose on a different image. Essentially like a semi-editor, I guess you would say, but not in the same way. And you'll see from my examples what I mean by that. While this can technically edit, it's not giving you a one-to-one edit. So the first thing you're going to do is go to the links in the description and you are going to download the ControlNet file. And then you are going to come to Civet AI and you are going to download my workflow. You are going to need to update your ComFYUI. If you are running the desktop version, you guys are actually a few days behind the portable version, which is actually the reason that I took the jump and swapped to the portable version, because you can update on command as soon as the update comes out with Windows Portable. My advice to you guys, if you're using desktop, would be to grab your workflow folders, your model folders, and anything in your custom nodes that can't be re-downloaded. So like custom nodes you've installed from Hugging Face or GitHub. I would say pull those and then rerun the requirement text files in a command prompt inside the folder, and you will get those custom nodes re-updated into your portable version. And then you can just drag everything over into your Comfy Portable folder, and you won't have to re-download any of your models. And to be honest, the portable version is actually easier to work with Sage Attention and Triton. I can't get it to work because my 3070 card just won't allow it for whatever reason. There's something blocking it in the code. But with that being said, you will update your ComfyUI. You will drag and drop my workflow into your space, and you will get something that looks like this. So really, there's not too many major changes to this workflow from the original workflow. You do have this model patch loader. You have your conditioning node that now has came into play. You have the Quen Image DiffSynth ControlNet node, which controls all aspects of your processing for control. You have your Canny Edge node. You have your aux preprocessor. And then you have your 3 preview images to display your reference, your Canny Edge, and your open pose estimator. So really, essentially, that's all that's changed in this workflow. The only other thing I would say is changed is your step count is changed from 8 or 9 to 20. The only reason is I could not get this workflow to generate proper edits with the ControlNet poses on 9 steps. For whatever reason, it just went completely haywire and it would just kind of create its own environment and scene. So bumping this up to 20 seems to adhere to the prompt a lot better and kind of capture what you're asking for, as well as incorporating the pose properly. So I did test the BF16 and the FP8. I did get mixed results with the FP8. It just wasn't very good. I don't know how to explain it. It will give you different looks, but it's just not as clean. And I'll show you an example of the two together. So here is a side-by-side. This on the left is the BF16, and this on the right is the FP8. Both of these were ran on the same steps, the same seed, and the same CFG. You can see the detail difference that occurs here between the two. Whether it be you don't mind losing that quality for the memory gain, I would say that this still will work, but it is arguably not as good as the BF16 version. There's a lot more detail encapsulated in the BF16, and it just kind of kept the original pose a tad better. So with the workflow accounted for, let's take a look at some image comparisons so that you guys can get a better look at how this ControlNet actually works. So here we have about 9 examples that I'll show you guys today. So here is the first example. All of these are going to incorporate this teddy bear. I just thought it was a good way to test the edit function. So here we have the same pose of a man walking with an exploding plane. Now, I prompted all of these to be as close to the original as I can. You will find that some of them aren't, one-to-one pose or one-to-one scene, but they are pretty close. And for what this model does, it executes it properly. And if you're not looking for an identical swap, this is going to be a very viable model for you. So let's move on to the next example. Now, here was one that kind of struggled a little bit. So we have the woman holding the phone bent over, looking at what would be maybe a reflection in some sort of mirror down here. The ControlNet didn't really capture the pose too well. It got the idea correct, but it kind of failed on the pose and camera angle. So still a viable image though. I mean, like this could be used for whatever use case this may have, but it is a good image at the end of the day. Our next example we have, the pose is not identical as you can see. Her left foot is supposed to be forward. That being said, everything else is correct. Here we have a woman looking out a window in the rain. I thought this was pretty much a one-to-one. It even got the reflection, which was missed in the reference image, which I was kind of surprised with. Here we have a Tekken-inspired king fighter from the game. This was actually generated using my Flux Flora Sea Dream Meets Flux. I thought that this came out really good. So, and here we have our control net of this image. Now the pose is really correct. Like if we're being honest, the pose is correct. The angle of the camera may not be proper, but the pose is identical. Here we have another example. So this one was kind of weird. It captured the pose correctly, but misplaced the angle of the sword and also didn't give the flame that I was looking for. That's just a prompt issue though. Had I ran this probably 2 or 3 times, I probably could have gotten something more similar to this, but I was just pressed for time. So plus I like the way this image looks. Like I would use this like genuinely on my own, and I may use this. So this was a really good example of pose consistency throughout the entire image. So this actually captured most of the poses in the background too. It is slightly different because there's obviously more demons here than there are bears, but you get the point. Very close. Like this one, this guy and this guy, like this guy and this guy, this guy and this guy, all the same. This was a really good example. Followed the prompt really well. Also encapsulated the pose very well. Here we have a dual character pose. So I actually wanted to test the multiple characters because that demon image gave me this idea to give 2 solid characters a control net pose, and it did work. Here we have pretty much an identical pose. And here is our final example. We have a Master Chief like character, and the pose is pretty much identical again. Very, very good control net. I can see a lot of use cases where this can give you, inspiration from an original reference image and turn it into something really cool like this. I mean, like, yeah, this is simple, obviously, but like the idea behind it is really cool. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to have for you today. Just wanted to get you guys this workflow and show you this control net. I know that this is going to have some serious use cases for a lot of people. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, you can subscribe to the channel and leave a comment to let me know how I did on the video. You can also like the video. It genuinely helps the channel tremendously. So go ahead and get those files downloaded, get this workflow downloaded, and start using this control net, boys. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.